Hey guys, my name's Jeremy. I am the worst half of the Lexington site coordinators. You got to see my wife earlier. She's definitely the best part of that whole thing. Woo! But I got the honor. I found out right before the gala that I got to introduce this young lady next to me, and we have a pretty unique relationship. Not only am I her big brother, I'm also her youth pastor, and then I also get to boss around at the site on Tuesdays, and it's really, really, really awesome. But whenever Sean called and asked me, he said, "Hey, do you think Savannah would want to share her story about Lexington?" And immediately I started laughing because I knew that I had the power to be like, "Hey, Savannah, you're gonna do this." But in all seriousness, I went and asked her, and she immediately clammed up and got scared. And I said, "Hey, whatever you want to do, just pray about it." But it's been really cool because whenever Savannah has these opportunities to talk, and she talks about how many other people that she's been able to look up to, and she says that she gets to look up to me. And as her older brother, it's been really awesome because to see what she's doing, it's an opportunity for me to look up to her, and to see that the love that she has for Jesus is something that I would have never, ever expected. And then she's even doing more than what I did at that age, and she's going above and beyond, and she's listening, and she's taking all these crazy teachings that I've passed down from Pastor Jack and taught her, and makes it sound like I'm real original. But she's taken those and actually put them into action. And so without further ado, I want to introduce y'all to Miss Savannah. So you got this.
Hello, everyone. I'm Savannah, as Jeremy announced. I'm 18 years old, and I'm currently serving at the Lexington site every Tuesday. Before I get started, I would just like to say that if it wasn't for Pastor Jack's sermon that Sunday, I definitely would not be standing here today. So thank you for everyone just listening to me, and I just want to start off with asking one question. How far is too far for Jesus? So I started serving at a Feed the Need site when I was 12 years old. My dad was told about Feed the Need missions through Pastor Jack, and I was just kind of forced to see what it was all about with the rest of my family. Our family was one of many who helped start the LBA site. We would drive from Lexington to Bastrop every Thursday to serve. Even after the craziest days of school, somehow, some way, I was just super willing and looking forward to going to the site. We got to witness God moving in many people's lives every week. The very first time I showed up at LBA, I fell in love with the entire mission. Watching the way that the volunteers welcomed each and every guest with a big smile and made them feel loved opened up a whole new perspective on what loving people the way Jesus does means. I had the privilege of watching lives be completely transformed from what in the moment seemed like just a burger and a hot dog. I didn't find out until much, much later just how special that hamburger and hot dog really are. Serving at the Lexington site weekly has allowed me to see the mission impact the community in many different ways. One specific guest, as y'all saw earlier, is Miss Julie. Miss Julie was impacted through Feed the Need as she came to the site in a time when her life seemed to consist of nothing but brokenness. Julie was struggling with some family-related issues, and more than anything, she just needed someone with a listening ear who was willing to repair her broken spirit. Our very first conversation, it's kind of funny, but it started off with simply me just complimenting her steering wheel cover, which said, "Jesus, take the wheel." I was probably 2 weeks away from taking my driver's test, so I found those words not only very comforting, but also super relatable. From that very first conversation, my relationship with Miss Julie only grew stronger. She began to open up about her life a little more every week, constantly asking for prayers. When Julie needed the guidance, she came to the site and asked for prayers, but specifically stated that she was not worried because she knew God was going to take care of it. I have been able to watch firsthand that our prayers are being answered. It is not only a very rewarding experience, but it has allowed me to open up to God more in my personal prayers. From the very first conversation with Miss Julie, we had a connection. So much so that on the day of Gobble Kids for Lexington last year, Miss Julie actually bought me my very own steering wheel cover, and that's that picture right there. She remembered how much I liked her steering wheel cover and made it a priority of hers to get me one. So to everyone else, it seems like just a simple steering wheel cover, but to me, it represented the trust and the relationship that Julie and I had built from the very first conversation. Miss Julie has explained to many people that Feed the Need has restored her faith and allowed her to grow closer to God and lean on Him at all times. When she comes to the site now, she still has prayer requests, but she also has so many praises for what God is doing in her life each and every day. Feed the Need has allowed me to get out of my comfort zone in order to serve Jesus. When I first started serving, I never wanted to talk to the guest. I always served on the line, which there's nothing against that. And I most of the time was dealing with the pickles. It was my favorite thing. So I never felt that I was old enough to serve. I was like, nobody wants to listen to a little kid out there talking, and they're definitely not going to let me pray for them. So that's not my place. I'll stay with the pickles. However, 1 Timothy 4:12 says, "Don't let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity." That verse has stuck with me because I am young, but somehow I can't do the small talk. But when it comes to Jesus, I can talk for hours. The first day of serving at the new Lexington site, Jeremy told me, it's time to get uncomfortable. And we're going to serve God in bigger and better ways, which scared me because I knew what was coming after that. From that day forward, I have had the amazing opportunity to take orders and, more importantly, pray for the guest. I went from a little shy girl doing pickles every week to praying for guests and watching how the Lord is moving in their lives. Getting involved with the mission can do the same thing for each and every one of you. It can be the reason that your faith is restored like Miss Julie's, or it can give you a way to see God at work. So my challenge for each of you tonight is to take that leap of faith outside of your comfort zone and go the extra mile for Jesus. Ask our guests what you can pray for in their lives, or maybe just compliment someone's steering wheel cover and see where God takes the relationship. Those pickles only get you so far, guys. Thank you.